Can you chat?
Always. Howdy.
Hey there.
I always think I want to say howdy, but it just sounds unnatural
When
coming
you
out
say
of my
it?
mouth.
I wish we could say y'all.
I would love to say y'all.
Only because mainly in emails, I'm always saying like, whatever works for you all. You know, like when you're sending like a, when should we meet? Whatever type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to say like, when, whatever works for y'all. But no.
It sounds so foreign coming out of our mouths, but like I definitely want to be able to say things like that. They sound like warm.
Y'all?
Like howdy, y'all. How y'all doing?
I don't think howdy people really say.
Some people say it. I'm trying to make it happen, but it's not coming out right.
Howdy.
I'm going to ditch it.
Okay.
Remind me, I don't want to use it anymore.
All right.
How was your day?
My day, my weekend,
All of it.
all was a blur, honestly. Oh, we were at another wedding.
You are
Professional
Professional
wedding
wedding
attendees.
Yep.
I almost said attenders.
That would have worked too.
So, first of all, I didn't realize they played Do You Remember?
Yeah, it was the 21st night of September.
I didn't realize that it was. So they played that one like that the wedding party and them walked in. And it was like, okay, classic choice. And then they played it again to open the dance floor. And I was like, God, these people love this song.
It was a dynamic night.
It was for that night. I
Mm-hmm.
just realized. So that was an interesting part of the wedding. The other interesting part was that we were sitting at a table that was like not in the hall, but like
Near.
almost in the hall.
I mean, someone has to
Someone
sit there.
has to sit there.
Someone has to sit there.
And on the scale of how close we are to these people,
that made sense.
it made sense, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would I put them in the hall at my wedding?
Maybe. I'm just kidding.
If possible, maybe. It's just like someone has to sit in the hall.
Someone has to be the farthest table.
I think the hall people should be like your friends from work.
I think
Work people sit in the hall.
hall people should be self-aware to know they're in the hall.
Well, the problem was that
You were a hall person and you didn't see yourself that way.
no, I think the problem is some of us are hall people, but some of us aren't. But we're all grouped into one category.
Right.
So it's like if
you brought some of the hall people brought you down. Or are you the hall people?
I think I'm a hall person for sure at this specific event.
So you brought people down.
No. Let me explain.
Okay.
So it's friends of my husband and they're family friends. So like they grew up together and there's like, let's say 20 of them.
Okay.
Cause it's like a bunch of like his parents' friends' kids,
Right.
all one group. Like it's like all, all cousins,
got
like
it,
they're
yeah.
all just one group of equally.
Everyone is in the same boat.
Yes. Everyone in the same boat. And it's like,
Plus their spouses. Now you're 40.
right, plus their spouses. Well, not all 20 come to everything.
Got it.
I would say probably like 10 usually come,
Okay.
plus their
Spouse.
significant others, which a lot of them are married at this point. And some of them were at the head table because some of them are like
Head table people.
super close. Exactly. And so that left what turned out to be a table of 9
Okay.
and then a table of 4. Not just 4 people, but like there were 9
And then four of
and then
them
4 left over.
were clumped into a different table. Which one were you at?
The 4.
Okay.
And so I kind of was like, what are they supposed to do? Like,
Totally.
you can't have a table of 100.
And you can't do 10 and 3. That's worse.
No,
Like,
no. So we were at a table with like cousins of the bride. So like people we had not ever seen ever, which is fine. So, I'm sure that like the moms who are all friends were probably like not happy with seating.
Sure. I mean,
because, you know, some people aren't sitting with some people and whatever. I was saying it probably would have been better to just sit families together, you know, because all the parents' friends were like at 2 tables together.
uh-huh.
And it probably would have been better to do like 4 of the parents' friends and then like kids and their significant others and then another couple tables of that. So yeah, perhaps it would have been better to do that rather than just like 4 of us at a rando table. And then on top of that, the table was kind of outside of the room.
I hear you. But as someone who does tables with people like every week.
No, I know. There's nothing you can do about it.
It is what it fucking is. And people get so up in arms about tables and where they're going to be sat. And it's like, what do you care?
Let me tell you why I cared about this one.
Okay.
I am actually usually elated to be at an outer table because you don't have to like weave through the entire wedding to
Closer to the bar.
Get to the bar, go to the bathroom, go to the suite table. I mean, you're like
Prime seating.
Yeah, you're free to do whatever the fuck you want.
Totally.
That's great. Yeah, so there was one table on each side of the doorway, kind of creating like a walkway into the room.
So people could get in.
Yes, and that was the only way in. And we were one of those tables. And so you couldn't really sit down right away because like people were coming in.
No, I hear you. These are valid.
But we were near the bar.
Amazing. And the exit.
We were right by the exit.
One word for entrance is exit.
So yeah, the vibes were high. Wedding was fun. Weddings are as fun as you make them, which I think is something that you could tell.
I always say that. I always say if the bride and groom are having fun, everyone else is having fun.
The bride and groom were actually not on the dance floor a lot.
Oh, well, maybe they aren't dancers. Maybe their version of fun was not dancing.
They were like, you know, around the party, which usually does kind of kill your dance floor.
Yeah, it can be tough.
But people were out there. I mean, it was interesting because the DJ was an older gentleman.
Like someone who's a seasoned pro?
You could say. He looked maybe like in his 70s.
Like he started with actual records?
Possibly. And there's just something about like, he was good, but it's like just, there's something about a man of that age, like with like one headphone on his ear, hand in the air to like apple bottom jeans. Boots
God
with
bless
the fur.
him. The whole club was looking at her or him.
Not to be ageist.
Yeah, it does sound like you're being ageist.
But it does feel like maybe it's a job for someone younger. But you're from the industry.
I don't honestly, like, there are people in the industry who you would never even guess their age. Like, I don't know. I can't imagine, like, maybe I'll still be doing this when I'm 70. Like, I wouldn't want someone being like.
But you're not, your job isn't life of the party at 70. That's the DJ's job.
But was he the life of the party?
He was trying to be.
Like, I don't know if you don't want to be forced into retirement. I think there are different versions of 70. So I didn't see him moving and grooving, but like there's a young 70 and then there's like a middle 70.
Well, this is a guess. Don't quote me.
Right. I'm just saying like there's different variations of the age 70. Oh, see, he doesn't look 70 to me at all.
Well, he is.
I mean, you guessed how old he is, but like he doesn't look that old to me. I think he looks like I know DJs that age.
Really?
Yeah.
So yeah, the man was older, and nothing against an older gentleman, but one weird thing that he did do that I thought was a little odd was he invited everyone up on the dance floor at the end of the night after the last song. He was like, please, everyone get up here. Let's get up here one more time to celebrate the bride and groom, whatever. So like, of course, everyone gets up. And he's like, we pack all onto the dance floor. And he's like, if everyone can look up ahead, this is something I like to do at the end of all my shows. And I'm going to stop you there. This isn't a show. This is a wedding.
And it's not your wedding. It's someone else's.
And it's someone else's wedding. So like just the fact that you thought that this was one of your shows doesn't sit right with me.
There's a disconnect, sir.
I literally turned to Mike and I go, one of my shows?
Like, we didn't pay for you to come
If you call my wedding a show one more time.
Yeah, you won't be invited. Yeah, that's honestly the toughest part of the whole story. Like, I was good with him up until that moment.
Yeah, it was just like, why would you say that? He wanted to get a picture of everybody who was on the dance floor at one of his shows. We actually weren't at one of your shows. We were at this wedding and you happened to also be here.
You're at my show.
Yeah. You're at the bride and groom show.
I bet it's on its Instagram. Like, this is how we do. This is how we pack the dance floor.
So yeah, that was the wedding recap. It's hard because like you don't recover
right away
from drinking in the same way that we used to.
Yeah. You have to be really proactive, I've learned. Like, you have to come home. You have to eat, like, that night, a good amount. You have to chug water, and you have to take Advil.
I took Advil in advance.
It didn't do anything.
I mean,
that's what I learned. Like, when we were in the Ozarks, I was literally shoveling pretzels in my mouth before I went to bed. Like, I was like, I will literally do anything.
What are pretzels gonna do?
I don't know. Just like the carbs, soak it up.
Oh, okay.
But I was like, I cannot be hungover on a 7-hour drive tomorrow.
Yeah. And were you?
No.
Oh, well.
But it just depends. I was a little hungover after Lauren's wedding. And I did the same exact thing. So really, I think it's a crapshoot.
I was also hungover after that wedding. So
I think hangovers just find you more readily in this stage of life.
I mean, like, can you imagine if we wouldn't drink if we were like this in college?
I think it's honestly not that I recommend us doing this, but I think it's like a muscle. Like, I don't necessarily know if it's your age, because like there are people who drink a shit ton at our age and I think they're insane. I think it's like your body isn't used to like breaking all that alcohol down. Like when we were in,
no, that's not a scientific. No.
Yeah, this is just my own thing. But like when we were in college, it was like drink more, drink again, drink tomorrow.
In college, they had like nights for it. Like it was like pub Wednesday, 6 drinks Thursday.
Just a regular Friday.
I don't know where we went on Fridays, but we usually went somewhere.
Probably like a pregame and then like a house party.
Yeah. Saturdays we went downtown.
Nope.
Sunday they started doing Sunday night chasers.
No, I know.
And
no, Monday night chasers.
Oh, Sundays were off.
Yeah.
Sunday's the Lord's Day.
For rest.
It was Monday night chasers. Yeah. And then you'd have Sundays and Tuesdays off.
I know. It's crazy.
And you went out every single one of those nights.
And I could never do that now.
Is that why it's considered a party school?
I think a lot of schools have those like variations.
Like a lot of people go out as much as we did.
I mean, back then, like my friends who went to other schools went out as much. I don't know about the college game now.
Like Tuesday through Saturday, basically.
Yeah, it was too much. It was way too much. But I was telling you was I telling you this? After the Ozarks, I was like, I don't think the youth drink the way we used to.
Oh, really?
Like in a good way.
They
drink a lot, but they weren't like, we were just like gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you were specifically.
Other people were as well. Other people joined me there.
Not everyone blacked out like you did. Did people call it browning out?
Yeah, browning out, which I don't think was a scientific term.
We had we used browning out a lot. You weren't blacked out, but you were close.
I was so close. But like now I pay for it when I drink. Like I have a great time, but I have to pay the piper the next day.
It's just like your body's sore.
I know. Well, I'm glad that you've recovered 2 days later.
Barely.
You're like, I'm right there. I feel like tomorrow I'm going to feel like myself.
Maybe.
I hope so.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was lovely. It was actually like filled with a lot of productivity. It was one of the last weekends I don't have an event this entire fall. So it was very productive and I relaxed. We watched football. We came over to your parents on Sunday and watched football.
I didn't mention something exciting that happened to me last week on Thursday.
Oh, what was it?
So every now and again, and by every now and again, I mean every week, I usually like to place a little $5 bet.
Oh my God, yes. Go
on the first touchdown score of the game. Because then it's like, you know, you don't have to watch the whole game. You just have to watch till someone scores a touchdown.
Yep.
And it's fun and exciting, and you put a little $5 in and bam.
Yep.
It never hits, really, ever. I mean, I think maybe it's hit like twice ever. And so you guys were over at our house, and I was like, I'm going to do my Thursday night football $5 bet. And I went on, and I have like money in my betting account from like, you know, when you sign up and they give you a promo, whatever, they're like, deposit 50 and we'll give you 250 or whatever it is. So I have money in there from that, and I never, like, season after season of betting on football, I never cash out.
Take it out,
because
which is
it's like
insane.
It's just like a couple $100 that like then you just keep playing with house money. Like I haven't put money in ever. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to do my $5 bet. Who do we think? So your husband was like, well, you could do it on this person or this person. And I was like, maybe I'll do it on Lazard. Because I had pronounced his name Lizard and then learned it was Lazard. And so it just stood out to me. I was like, do you think there's a chance it could be Lazard? And he was like, I mean, maybe. And I was like, alrighty. So I go to place my $5 bet. And the betting app says, do you want to use your no sweat bet? Bet up to $250 and get all your money back if it doesn't hit.
I have uncovered some more things about the no sweat bet.
Oh, you have?
For the future, yes.
Oh, interesting.
Important context.
Okay.
That we should use moving forward.
Oh.
And if you have a betting problem, we do
not.
No,
really. Trigger warning.
Yeah,
gambling
sorry.
addiction. So I was like, $250. Okay, like I had more than $250 in my account. So I was like, if I'm just going to place the bet and get it back, I could get $5 back or $250 back.
Right.
I might as well do $250. Because if it doesn't hit, it's like you never place the bet.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to place $250 on Lazard. I put my bet in. Also, I have your husband look at it like 10 times.
10 times.
To verify that I will get my $250 back.
Which you do get it back.
In betting credit.
In betting credit that expires.
I have Tyler look at it a few times. And he's like, yeah, that does look like what it is. I'm like, woohoo. So I put $250 on Lazard before the game starts. Like 2 minutes before the game starts. Then my husband comes downstairs and he's like, how's it going? I'm like, I put $250 in on Lazard. And he's like, you put $250 on Lazard? I was like, it was a no sweat bet.
No sweat bet.
And he was like, on Lazard? And I was like, yes.
You're welcome.
Lo and behold, not a few minutes into the game, the first touchdown scorer was Lazard.
It was crazy. It was electric.
On my no sweat bet, I won $4,000.
It was insane. Actual insanity.
I couldn't even process what had happened because Jonna had sprung to the other side of the couch where I was sitting and was laying on top of me, shaking my shoulders.
Because it was so shocking.
Like, and she was like,
I couldn't believe it.
And then she got up and she was like, are you dying? And I was like, I can't comprehend what's going on because of the
joy that was spilling out of me.
It was crazy.
That was pretty crazy.
And so, yeah, it was really exciting. Obviously, that doesn't ever hit. So, like,
we don't recommend anyone doing this.
Yeah, don't put $250 of your own money.
Put $20 on the first touchdown that Tyler told me to, and it did hit tonight. But I think now our luck has run out.
So, yeah, that was exciting. Don't condone sports betting.
And you should only do it
in any way
if you feel in control.
I did also take the $4,000 out.
Yeah, you had to.
Because I'm not leaving $4,000 in a betting account. And I left myself with my few $100 that I had from before that I will continue to play with. So that was a really exciting.
That was a huge Thursday activity.
Evening for us.
I was so annoyed I didn't copy your bet. I was like, son of a bitch.
You didn't even have the app at that time.
I did get it during the time, but I just should have. Oh, God. I'll be kicking myself for now to eternity. Oh, I have an icebreaker for you.
Ooh, okay, go.
What is a red flag that you feel like when you're in someone else's home, you see it and you're like, ooh?
Oof. I mean, that's a good one. People who don't have a lot of pictures, I think, are obviously serial killers, like
art or like
family photos.
Okay.
But a step beyond that, people who don't have art. If you don't have any art in your home,
like even home goods art,
baseline home goods art.
Yeah.
Baseline.
I do
Like
think
if
it's
you
weird.
don't have any art in your home and you just have like vases
Yeah.
or like, you know, because I feel like on Instagram or like, you know, wherever people find like interior design bullshit, like you can't buy art at like Crate and Barrel. Like,
You can. It's just really expensive
oh, okay. Well, I haven't.
because it's stupid expensive.
So like people don't see art a lot in as like attainable decor pieces, you know?
Those people haven't gone to Home Goods or Etsy. You can buy prints on Etsy.
Or an art museum
But
ever.
like, you're not going to buy art at an art museum.
No, but you go to an art museum
Yeah.
and you see something you like and you're like, oh,
I
I
should get a
really
print
like
of it.
that artist. I could get a print of that. Like
No, I agree. That is pretty creepy.
people who don't have a speck of art, like if the only decor in your home is like photos or like fucking signs or like, you know, shelves with flowers, little floral vases on them. Like that, all that shit is fine, minus signs. Signs are a no, but all that other stuff is fine if it also is included with
company's art.
art. Like art is integral
Into your home.
to a home, and I just feel like you don't even understand interior design if you don't have art.
Yeah.
It just looks like plain and like
That's not my biggest red flag.
hospital-y.
I think my biggest red flag is actually if someone's home is too neat.
Too neat.
Like too pristine. Because there's only two ways to attain that. You're a sociopath who's like obsessed with keeping it like clean and neat and like you're borderline OCD, or you don't like spend time there and enjoy it. And like I love when everything has a place and like I love doing a refresh at the end of the night and like cleaning things up, but like I don't like when homes feel like they're not lived in.
Oh, I don't mind that at all.
That bugs me. I'm like, do you live here? Is this a museum?
It's just like, oh, it's so clean.
No. Clean is not what I'm saying. I'm saying like organized.
That's more of a red flag too than when someone doesn't have a speck of art in their home.
Well, because that's a personal design thing. Like I don't like it, but I'm not like you're a sociopath.
You're just like, you're dumb.
Well, I didn't say dumb, but like we don't align creatively. But like if you don't look like you live in your house, I'm like, where does the laughter happen?
Immaculately clean. Remember when like hospital vibe was the vibe?
Yeah,
like gray floors and
just
like
very
white
monochromatic.
walls.
Yeah. No, I don't personally like that aesthetic.
And it was like, do you realize that you've decorated your home in the same way that they decorate
An OR.
psychiatric wards?
This is an OR. We could do a surgery in here. No, I just like don't enjoy when it seems like no one lives there.
Like your home should feel like a home.
Home and like people are here and like I like when things are like designed well, but like there's a coaster out because like someone had a drink there. Like I don't like feeling like if I do one thing, I'm gonna disrupt the ecosystem.
Oh, well, yeah, no.
Like, ugh, okay, this is for show.
My sister-in-law is like the cleanest homekeeper in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have a drink and then like you pick up the drink and she's like wiping the ring.
She's like, no
on
ring
the
here.
counter, like the second you pick up your drink. Or like you take out a blanket and you get up to go to the bathroom and then you
She
come
folds
back
it
and the
up.
blanket has been folded and you're like,
Oh, I'm done with that, I
okay.
guess.
I wasn't done with that. But like I have an appreciation for it. Like it's just like she keeps a tight home.
I don't dislike
I aspire
that.
to it.
I don't dislike that. I just don't like when you feel like someone doesn't live there. Like I should see evidence of life. Like it's weird.
Okay.
Not in her house at all. I'm saying like there are people where I'm like, who has ever been in here?
Curious to hear some other people's red
Yeah.
flags. Tell us.
Anywho, should we dive into something interesting?
Yeah. Do you have anything interesting to share?
Well, I mean, it's what the entire world is talking about with Diddy's arrest. And the best part is that he's been denied bail.
Can you explain the Diddy story to me? So I thought, because someone asked me what happened with Diddy the other day, And I was like, I think it's like not the other day, it was before, it was a couple weeks ago. I was like, I think it's like that video came out of him like
abusing Cassie,
abusing his girlfriend in the hall of the hotel. And that's about as much as I knew about it.
Well, I guess now like everyone comes out of the woodwork and is like, there's been allegations about him for years. And I mean, he has always been like kind of a creepy dude. And I remember when Kim Porter, his ex, maybe fiance, I don't remember if it was wife, but definitely the mother of some of his children, was killed. People were speculating that he'd killed her or had her killed. For a while, I was like, yeah, he's a creepy dude. Now people are like coming out in droves. Like, I guess there's a conspiracy theory that he had set up Biggie and Tupac to be murdered. There's always been a conspiracy that not even really conspiracy, Kid Cudi swears that Diddy blew up his car when he was linked to Cassie. People are saying that he's like been notoriously abusive to women, notoriously like perverse, and like had these like really outlandish, inappropriate parties. That's always been like, I guess, discussed in the underworld. No one ever says anything about it because with these rich, powerful men, it's like, do as you please.
But isn't it like a sex trafficking thing?
Well, so that's always been like the allegations. So he's been charged with sex trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. So not good. And Cassie had alleged in a lawsuit that went away that he had forced her to have sex with male prostitutes while he watched. And that was part of the allegations that went very hush hush after they settled out of court. And his lawyer made this whole show of like, just because you settle something in today's day and age doesn't mean you're guilty. Well, clearly it does. And by the way, I would say almost always when you settle out of court, it fucking means you're guilty. If you're not guilty,
I mean, yeah,
you would go to court.
Is there no like statute of limitations on this?
I mean, it sounds like it was going on 2 days ago. I mean, like, I'm sure there is on some of these charges, but he is such a fucking brazen motherfucker.
Yeah. Wow.
I gotta imagine that like nothing really spooked him. It will be seared into my brain the way he whipped Cassie around. Someone who's that callous.
Yeah, like he pulled her by her ponytail.
In a hotel. This dude was not thinking about being caught, which makes him being caught that much sweeter. It's like, oh,
but what is the sex trafficking?
So they're alleging that like he was engaging in like luring in girls and then forcing them to engage in sexual acts, which is
with
sex
him?
trafficking.
Or people at these parties?
A lot of people say like he would watch. So I don't know.
Like Louis C.K.?
Oh God, I haven't heard
Wasn't that his thing?
I thought his was just. I don't want to put just in front of this. I thought his was masturbating in public.
Oh, I thought his was creepy watcher, and also maybe not.
Maybe, but we can't prove that.
Okay.
I don't want to say anything that I can't prove about Louis C.K. I don't want to further smear his good name.
Yeah, really.
Well, I guess his okay name. It's not really a good name anymore.
Louis okay.
Louis okay? Are you okay, Louis? Oh my God, another pedophile.
Ah! Hey, Louis, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Louis?
Like, do we give a shit? So, all's to say, Diddy can rot in prison. But I'm so sick of people being like, have you seen these? People being like, Diddy is the tip of the iceberg. Like, Diddy's taking the fall for someone bigger. I don't care.
Who's bigger than Diddy?
Well, people are claiming he's like, just the tip of the iceberg, that there's someone even more powerful. It's like,
so he's got his own like Epstein Island situation
I'm
going.
sure of it.
That's what people are.
Yeah. People are alleging that his like assistant, or not assistant, but like one of his employees, they're calling him like Diddy's Ghislaine Maxwell.
Ooh, wasn't it like Meek Mill?
It is Meek Mill.
That he was like
being used and abused.
Meek Mill was being used and abused.
They're saying that Justin Bieber was abused or has some connection.
Really?
And Usher, some footage of him on the Howard Stern show has resurfaced. I love the internet in times like this.
Seriously.
Of him talking about how L.A. Reid had him move to like Camp Diddy when he was like 13. Diddy kind of sounds like Diddler.
Camp Diddy?
Like he had to move in with Diddy when he was like 13 years old. And he was like...
Do you think that Diddy is a nickname for Diddler and we never knew? Camp Diddler.
I don't know, man.
Sean P. Diddler Combs.
So, all's to say, rot in prison. I love that he's not getting bail. I love it.
Is he? But he's probably in one of those like nice yoga type prisons.
No, not when he's not been sentenced.
Oh.
Those are usually like long-term facilities.
What is he in then?
probably like your standard.
Just like LA County.
I mean, he's in Manhattan, but like I'm
Oh.
sure that version. Because he hasn't been transferred to anything. Like he has court appearances and stuff.
He's just in like a holding cell.
Not a holding cell, but I'll tell you where he is.
Like on 60 Days In. Those type places. You know how
Yeah,
they're
he's-
always getting like...
He remains in the federal custody at the Brooklyn Detention Center. Like just Brooklyn Detention Center. Those inmates are like, yo, sorry about everything, but could you sign this?
Speaking of the internet coming back to bite you in the ass.
Oh, my favorite.
Have you heard about North Carolina's Republican nominee for
No.
governor? No? Okay.
What'd he do?
So this man,
Sweet, sweet man.
Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson, last week, lewd comments were revealed that Robinson allegedly made on, buckle up, a porn website's message board over a decade ago,
Well, obviously they were lewd.
predating his tenure in politics. CNN has said that Robinson referred to himself as a quote-unquote black Nazi
Oh.
and described Adolf Hitler's Mein Kampf as a, quote, good read.
I'm sorry, why were these on a porn site?
Robinson, whose previous comments have made headlines, called the reports salacious tabloid lies. There have been a number of growing calls for Robinson, who's trailing his opponents on polls, to drop out of the race, even though the withdrawal deadline has passed. And, you know, Trump is now distancing himself from this
Dumpster fire.
crazy man. First of all, let's get into some of these comments.
Okay, great.
It's I'm a black Nazi. Nazi is in all caps.
In case you guys didn't see it.
Yeah. He expressed his support for reinstating slavery.
I'm sorry, he's black?
He's a black man, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, what's interesting is that there's a place to post comments on a porn site. I thought that was just for watching. Have those turned into social platforms?
I have so many questions. Like, why would you post these things on a porn site? Like, first of all, maybe a porn site isn't for you if while you're watching it, your first thought is that you should comment on like the resurgence of slavery. Like maybe that's not your kink that you're watching if you're distracted enough to have that commentary.
Well, he was obviously using like a different username. Commenters considered whether to believe the story of a woman who said she was raped by her taxi driver while intoxicated. In response, Robinson wrote, and the moral of this story is don't fuck a white bitch.
Oh.
So this man has a lot of really interesting insights.
So how did they link it to him?
His username he used on other things.
Like as his real name?
Yes.
I mean, the truth is he's lucky as fuck because these are hard to prove. Like, what was the username?
It was MINIS Mini Soldier.
Yeah, like, I'm sure it is him. I would not doubt it for 1 second. But unless someone's, like, searching the IP address, it's not like it was the most telling name.
He does also comment in other places. On this site, Adult Friend Finder.
Creepy.
Jesus. He wrote like his username is Mini Soldier 68. He was born in 68. He comments other places like, well, here in Greensboro, this is how we do things. That's where he's from.
What a fucking creep.
He signs as Mark a couple of posts.
Oh, well, that's pretty damning. You know who he would have loved? Going to a Diddy party.
You're right.
He's like, just missed my time.
So yeah, that's who's running for governor in the state of North Carolina. And
the creeps get creepier.
No, really.
Yeah, I think there's got to be just like some sort of vetting process. It's so crazy. I say this time and time again. But like the fact that any fucking lunatic like this man can just up and run for office it's like he would be denied by HR for like working at Discover. Literally one Google search, these things pull up and he would not be a legitimate candidate for a job. So if he's not a candidate to work at like the corporate office for Walgreens, I don't know why he's a candidate for political office.
But this is like some deep internet sleuthing.
Okay, but like once it comes to light, it's like, do you remember when we were in college and everyone was blurring out their red Solo cups because it was like, oh my God, you'll never get hired if they see you drinking, which
was only because if you're in a sorority.
No, it was like if you're gonna apply for jobs, their HR is gonna Google you. Okay, bullshit, whatever. But like, I
didn't think HR was gonna Google me. I thought that I was gonna get in trouble from nationals.
Okay, either way, there should be some sort of vetting process. The fact that we have a convicted fucking loser running for president and this freak running for governor is like, we got to throw it out, guys. The bathwater's no good.
It's politicians in general. It's like a sad sampling.
But it doesn't have to be. Call me naive, but like,
who's out there that you might know?
Well, I mean, I could go on forever and ever, but we've made it so difficult to run for office. You have to be loaded or connected to people who are loaded. People who are actually like probably solid candidates are too poor.
Also true.
Like, we've created a bit of an issue here, much like global warming. Our problems are of our own making. Yeah,
we say as it's still 80 degrees going into October.
These stories are making me depressed.
Do you have
They are.
I only gave one story.
I have something else depressing to share, though.
What?
Did you see that interview with Hayden Panettiere?
The one where she was maybe not sober?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Well, she came back and she was like, I was just exhausted.
That was exhaustion?
That was exhaustion. So she put a statement out. So for a little bit of context, Hayden Panettiere did this interview with People where they talked about her life and like she has a new project out, but they also talked about her family and her daughter and her brother who suddenly died. And I don't want to make an assumption, but she seemed under the influence of something, which is a problem because she's already battled substance abuse and was
like
sober.
Sort of like not slurring words, but like not totally speaking clearly.
It seemed like lorazepam-y.
Lorazepam doesn't affect everyone in the same way it affects you.
Just me then.
Jesus.
But it just seemed like she was slowed down.
If anyone else takes lorazepam one time ever and then goes on the most psychedelic trip of their life,
that's me. The ER gave it to me and I was fucked.
Vomiting incessantly.
I was so sick. I had an adverse reaction, to say the least.
You were on a bad trip.
I was on a horrible trip and the ER was like, this is weird. And I was like, this didn't make me better, guys. Anywho's, she commented on her Instagram and said, I would like to take a moment to address the controversies surrounding an interview I recently completed with People magazine. She began the caption of her September 22nd Instagram by saying, it's unfathomable that I'm even in this position, but I feel forced to address it in a space where I won't be criticized for how fast or slow I speak. She participated in
Meaning the written word?
Yes, the written word, because you can talk as slow or fast as you want.
Said Governor Mark Robinson.
No, literally.
In the words of Dorinda Medley, say it, forget it. Write it, regret it.
Long story short, she claims it's exhaustion. She hadn't slept for days. Her dog had been sick. And this was the end of like an incredibly long day. And all I want to say is, actually, all I want to say, LOL, the 400 things I want to say about this. First of all, it's so gross to me that someone, even if it was exhaustion, no one has the common decency to look at this girl and say like, you're not coming across the way I think you want to. We should table this. That's number one.
Like in the interview.
Yeah. Like the rule of thumb should be if this was your friend and you would be watching them do it, if you wouldn't want it to happen, you shouldn't let it happen to this person. No one in the room was like, this is uncomfortable. Like if I saw a stranger slurring their words like that, I would be like, do you need help? Do you need to take a break? Everyone at People's like, put it out, churn it out, looks great.
Well, that's not the media.
What do you mean?
They're just like, we got to get a story. You know, like someone seems a little fucked up and they're like, zoom in.
This isn't breaking news. This is like a human interest piece. Have some decency. Jesus Christ.
But Do you think she was on something?
Well, that's my question. I want to believe her because I don't want to be one of those people that just like, I don't know. I don't have any real context, but she looked fucked up.
I watched a couple of clips. She didn't look like she was in a great spot, but also like she's been out of the spotlight for so long. Like maybe she had some like really intense ketamine treatments or something, you know? Wasn't she like being treated for...
Well, she had horrible postpartum, or maybe she was anxious and she took something and a little too much something.
Yeah.
To calm her nerves.
Normalize taking something.
Take something. If you need something, take something.
Exactly.
But I just...
You've heard if you see something, say something. If you need something, take something.
100%. I was like, oh my God, Hayden, you don't look so good.
Hayden?
I felt bad.
Hayden. That's a popular boy's name now.
Yeah, it is. Wait, I just have to say, I was going to talk about how Janet Jackson, you know, said that Kamala wasn't black. And then someone released a statement, like basically apologizing on her behalf. And it was found out that he doesn't actually work for her. And she was like, no, that wasn't me.
No, I'm not sorry.
It was like the craziest double down. Like, just let that sit for a minute.
Janet Jackson is someone who, like, if I thought maybe that I saw her, like, in a store. Like,
I wouldn't care.
You're at Target. You're at the mall and you see Janet Jackson. Would you even, like, think about...
I wouldn't care.
No. I would be like,
oh my God, that's a fun
Janet
game.
Jackson.
Who else would you not give a shit about?
So many people.
Like, if I saw Lady Gaga, wouldn't affect my day.
I mean, I think maybe it's just me, but I have to really love someone.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people I'd be obsessed with, but there's also a long list that I'd be like, huh, interesting.
If you saw Josh Duhamel at the mall.
Would not give a fuck.
Me neither.
Fergie, too. Like, they could both be with their kid, and I'd be like, have a good day.
Are they still together even?
No, but, like, co-parenting.
Like so many people.
I mean, I can't even think of people.
The list is shorter of who I would care about.
Any Kardashian.
Adele, I would shit myself.
Taylor Swift. Even though I'm a new fan, I just like she's iconic.
Obviously.
Okay, well, Morgan Stewart. I know she's like a very low key celeb.
No, I would be like, holy shit,
I'm
you're Morgan Stewart.
obsessed with her.
That would be crazy.
I'm struggling.
Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston for sure. Jennifer Lawrence, actually.
Yes, I would care about her as well. Dax Shepard.
Yeah, I might care. Kristen Bell, I would care.
For sure.
Katy Perry, don't care.
Oh, I would like to see Katy Perry. I'd be like, holy shit, Katy Perry.
Do you have a daily dilemma for me?
I do have a dilemma for you.
Okay, give it to me.
It's a wedding themed.
Ooh.
So this girl posts and she says her family has like moved on since this happened a few years ago, but her dad had an affair with a woman who taught at her high school.
While she was there?
No.
Okay.
They met while she was there and I guess had like an emotional affair while she was in college.
Okay.
And it turned into a more than an emotional affair.
An affair.
An affair. And now this girl's in her 30s.
Okay.
And her dad was cheating on her mom for a few months. Affair.
Okay.
But a couple years, emotional affair with this woman. And then has since married this other woman.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's her stepmom, which she says in her post is extremely weird to say.
Okay.
This woman was her Spanish teacher.
Hola. Bienvenidos a la familia. She's like, actually, it's like, oh, all right, I'm going to stop you right there, senora. This is Thanksgiving.
So the girl who's writing this post is getting married. And her mom and her mom's boyfriend.
Oh, good for this lady. Get it.
Everyone's moved on.
Get it, girl.
Are helping pay for the wedding.
Okay.
Dad's giving a little money also, and then
Okay.
her and her husband are paying for most of it. And they sent out save the dates and did not invite the dad's wife, the Spanish teacher.
Ay, caramba.
And so the dad reached out and was like, I just want to make sure that so-and-so, his wife, is invited to the wedding because the envelope only had my name on it. Obviously, I would hope that she's included. And the bride responded back and said, unfortunately, we only have a limited number of spots.
Okay, well then you're gonna need to pull someone's boyfriend.
They are having like a 200 person wedding, so not so limited. But she's writing basically to say, am I shitty? And she said a little more context is that we still don't really have any relationship with this woman. Like, they've only been married like a year. And the dad was like pretty unapologetic. And so everyone was kind of like, huh? You're a dick.
He's for sure a dick.
And so, and the mom is like, he's an asshole. Like, and he wasn't even really sorry. And so the daughter feels very like team mom.
100% right out for mom. But you gotta invite her.
But she's like, it's not about you, and I don't want you and your affair to be the talk of the wedding.
But I gotta be honest, this will be more of the talk of the wedding.
Can't he just come without her?
Without his wife?
His affair?
His wife? Like, this says more. I really live by this. Doing the classy thing is so much more empowering in these situations.
The classy thing is to invite the affair.
Yeah, the wife.
When you're like, just be the bigger person, the same advice could be given to the dad, though. Like, for the dad to reach out and be like, hey, Claudia wasn't on the invite. Doesn't that sound like a Spanish teacher's name?
Oh, no, my Spanish name was Marisol.
Okay, that's not somebody.
I thought it was Claudia.
What about Juana?
No, I didn't want that. I wanted to be a new girl.
Is that even a name?
Marisol. I wanted to be someone else.
Like, if he's like, hey, Claudia wasn't on the envelope, I just want to confirm that she is invited. Like, if you're giving advice to the dad, my advice to him would be like, why make waves? Just like smile and be like, I'm gonna go to the wedding, this is what she wants.
Here's the truth.
Would your advice to him on the flip side be like, no, reach out, you're entitled?
In a dream scenario, if there really is all this animosity and everyone's aware of it, she should invite Claudia and Claudia should not go. But we're not operating in that vacuum. Like, the bigger person thing is to invite her. The bigger person thing is to bow out. Obviously, we're not getting that dream scenario. But by not inviting her, you become the villain.
But just like, I'm sorry, this was my Spanish teacher. Like, no, I didn't intend to invite Senora Dulce.
She was sweet. It's a losing battle. Like, you are going to look like the asshole. The minute you don't...
How am I going to look like the asshole when he's the one who had an affair?
10 years ago.
But, like, she hasn't been, like, brought into the family, really. It's, like, the dad's own thing.
Well, she definitely won't be now.
No.
Gonna be a bit of an obstacle.
Like, it's not like she's been introduced as, like, we really want to... when you just leave it so separate, what are you supposed to do?
I don't know.
You want it to be so separate, but then you want to bring her to the wedding and make it this whole thing. Again, I think it's just the whole way that this was handled. Like, even if you have an affair, like, let's say you were in a super unhappy marriage or just like, a not fulfilling marriage, and you have an affair, but you're like, okay, I don't want to be married, and I it doesn't matter if I end up with this affair or not, I don't want to be married. You break up and you do end up with the person that you had an affair with. And eventually you're like, I'd like to have them be part of the family, etc. And you work to include them. I think that's a totally different thing. Like, the fact that this guy, that her dad had this affair and then kept it a secret for so long and then was unapologetic about it. And now they never see her at all. It's okay, now you want her to come around and be part of the family at my wedding. That's more of what it is.
And I do understand that, but then I think you need to be more direct with the dad. I don't think you can take money from him and drop a save the date at his door without her on it. I think, again, communication is key. If you want to sit down with the dad and say, listen, I don't feel comfortable with her coming. She doesn't come around. I'm not opposed to getting to know her. I'm not opposed to including her in things, but it's kind of like all or nothing sort of thing right now. And I can't just have her drop into the wedding. So let's spend the next year trying to get to know one another and reassess, or say it's no. But I think it's a dick move to send a save the date without her name on it after you've taken his money and be like, oh yeah, your wife's not invited.
I think the hard part is that this girl says in her post that Senora Dulce has not made really any effort to get to know
Mama Dulce.
To be Mama Dulce at all. No, she has not made any effort to get to know the bride and her sister. And so she's like, she doesn't care about our family, and like, it's obviously not important to her at all to come to the wedding. That's more why I think, like, no, like, you don't care about this family.
I built this family.
You don't care about me getting married. Like, none of that matters. And dad's just being a dick about it because he doesn't want to show up to this alone. But today's not about him. Like, if it were like you had an affair, but like now they're just like together and like it is what it is, then of course, like, sometimes people,
life changes. I got it. Like, I don't know. I'm the high road gal. Call me a classy lady, but I like to take the high road.
I'm not calling you a classy lady.
I mean, you could though if you wanted, because I like to take the high road.
I like to take the road of justice. And
I think that justice can be served.
In this scenario, if Senora Dulce wanted to be invited to the wedding, she could have made a smidgen of an effort before Save the Dates went out.
That's an objective perspective. Maybe Senora Dulce feels like she's making a lot of effort.
Okay, well.
She's sending candy. She's sending emails.
And I'm all for, let me just clarify.
Please clarify.
I always feel like, oh, yikes, they had an affair, like, not good. But then when my next question is always like, and now they're remarried. And my next question is, are they married to the person they had an affair with? In my mind, that then always feels like, oh, that was true love.
Well, not even true love. It was worth it. It's crazy to me when people have an affair and then don't end up with their spouse or the affair. It's like, oh, well, then that was just obviously for nothing.
Yeah, okay, just burn it all down.
Burn it down.
But yeah, like when they're like, then they're with the person they had an affair with, it's like, okay, so like you got married to maybe the wrong person, or it was the right person, and then you changed, but then you met someone who was the right person, and like, life's not perfect, and like, not everyone is together forever. So when you marry your affair, or you like whatever, they become your life partner forever, that feels like that's the universe writing itself.
Well, this girl's deciding to take matters into her own hands.
But that doesn't feel like what this was. So
he ended up with the affair. This is your story.
No, I know he ended up with his affair, but the affair is like not in the family. Like, she doesn't. You like, she was a side chick, and she wants to continue to be a side chick.
Well, I wish them all the best, because this sounds like something that's going to be an absolute dumpster fire on the day of.
And you're happy to not be included.
And I don't want to be anywhere near that. So good luck to everyone. But mazel tov.
All the best to
all
you
the best.
and Senora Dulce.
Many blessings. Oh, well, this was fun.
Great recap.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks for listening. I'll call you later.
Call you later. Love you.
Love ya.
Bye.